Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Okay, let's see. Okay. Hello, hi, how is everyone doing? Nice, 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 nice. Okay. Oof. Oh, I didn't put a notification in the Discord, I should probably say. Live now. Be there or else. That sounds inviting, right? Name. And send. No! It didn't resend. Okay. How is everyone doing this week? Hi, hi, hi. Okay. If you do not know, I am currently on Twitch as well. I figured out dual streaming. It was very stressful. I did not do it on my own. I had help. But yeah, if you would prefer to go watch over there, I have a dual chat setup as well. Hi. Oh no, I can't. See, this is why I have to put announcements up, otherwise you almost forget about the stream. Thank you for not forgetting. Well, thank you for being here. Nice. Good to have a productive day. Okay, let's see. I have to open something up. Because, of course, I was going to forget something. Ah, well. Looks like something's not working. Which makes sense. I knew something wouldn't work at some point. Or maybe it's just attached to the Twitch chat. Anyway. Yes, it is under the same channel name. Well, technically, it's Hannah Chloe Smith, because Hannah Smith was already taken. I don't know who it was. Hi. Okay. I'm gonna assume that it's just working for the Twitch chat. Sick. Okay, great. So there's supposed to be, of course, a live chat at the corner there. That's a pity. Oh well, I'll turn it off for this stream in that case, and then I will get back to it. Actually, I'm maybe a little bit happy about this because it means it frees up all the more space for what I have to show you today. Yeah. It's just it's just got the Chloe in the middle, Hannah's clothes. Yeah, it kind of is. It actually used to be the channel name here too, on YouTube. And then I... Hello, chat. Should I put it up just for the Twitch chat? Why not? Just, yeah. There you go. So all you fine folks on YouTube can see the wonderful things happening on Twitch. Yeah, no, the pog was me. Okay. Phew. Okay, so today is a very special day. Because today, I get to talk about my favorite fictional character. You fools. I bet you thought, those of you who voted in the poll, that I would pick something highbrow and well written and for adults. But in fact, no. Peasants. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting it on my system. Yes, exactly. I am not going to talk about my favorite piece of fiction. I'm going to talk about my favorite fictional character, who just so happens to be the one and only... Okay, I'm gonna have to take the overlay down. Okay. The one and only DANNY PAHNTOM. Now, of course, if you do not know, DANNY PAHNTOM was a Nickelodeon cartoon that ran from 2004 to 2007. I first discovered it at 14, so I was the same age as the character, and it has occupied my brain rent-free for ever since then. You don't ask a lady how old she is. Now, sorry, this is going to be a very unserious time. So as you can see, he is in fact a phantom, the DANNY PAHNTOM. And you know, if you don't know exactly who this character is, I have a very nice slideshow put in place that we can now use to cover all the basics, you know, just so that you're up to speed with the people who watch the show, you know. It's... Yes, this is a full seminar. And then we'll get round to doing some fan art a little bit later, because I do not think this will take 3 hours. I hope it does not take 3 hours. Yeah, most of the time he is a phantom. He is part-time dead. It's truly a shame, genuinely. Can you believe it, you know? I mean, we all grew up. No one watches DANNY PAHNTOM nowadays. I think it should be a part of mandatory education, personally. But, you know, that's just my opinion. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna keep clearing my throat because that's the only way I know how to sound even slightly professional. Absolutely, yeah. They say the name of the show in the show, and it's the first thing you hear, kind of. Okay. I have a glass of water with me, I swear. I'm not dry-throated or dehydrated. I am simply unprofessional. Okay. Let's get the show on the road, okay? Ooh, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. That... Not a bad choice. Isn't that like the grandfather of all modern cartoons? I remember seeing the Tumblr post about it going around, like the family tree. God, for ages and ages and ages and ages. I mean, I kept re-seeing it, and every time I'd see it, there'd be new cartoons attached to it. So it's on the internet. It has to be true. That's the thing. I often compare DANNY PAHNTOM to Spider-Man because it is really genuinely just... It's the same kind of concept. He's like this wisecracking young, you know, like high schooler turned superhero. But that is yet to come. Chowder? I like Chowder. I don't remember anything of it. I just remember the characters. And then, of course, you know, in that typical style, they would have like those close-up scenes where they would like make all the characters super gross. That is the only thing I remember about Flapjack and Chowder specifically. Yeah, absolutely. professionals clear their throats because they have important things to say. So therefore, if I clear throat, I am important and have things to say. 5 years later, is that the Butch Hartman YouTube video, or like the thing he did where he was like the characters later on? No. The Ink Tank project with Fenton. Ah, no, I haven't. Okay. Anyway, let's actually get this show on the road. So again, for those of you who do not know anything about Danny Phantom, if you have not seen the show, do not fear. We have a very special handmade breakdown of the character and the show. And if you like the sound of it, it just recently got added to Paramount Plus, which I only found out today. So I guess if you have that in your country, I don't think I do. But if you have it in your country, I think you could maybe watch it if it's in your... Again, if it's like available in your country on Paramount Plus. I love streaming and the state of streaming. It's never a pain. Anyway, last one. Young Danny Phantom. He was just 14. When his parents built a very strange machine. It was designed to view a world unseen. When it didn't quite work, his folks, they just quit, right? But then Danny, right, took a look inside of it. It was a great big flash. And everything just changed. His molecules got all rearranged. I can't sing it, it's copyright. When he first woke up, he didn't realize he had snow white hair and glowing green eyes. He could walk through walls, disappear, and fly. He was much more unique than the other guys. It was then Danny knew what he had to do. He had to stop all the ghosts that were coming through. He's here to fight for me and you. As you can see, I've done my research. And this is a very professional and serious video about the qualities and value of Danny Phantom the show and Danny Phantom the character. I think that's all I can do. I mean, it is technically like a cover, but I've seen like other YouTubers get like very demonetized because their covers were too good or like it got picked up wrongfully, so He's a Phantom. So, yeah. Danny Phantom, the Nickelodeon cartoon, was created by Danny Phantom, the character, as is well known. Let's see. Certainly did run from 2004 to 2007. It had 3 seasons. The 3rd season, I believe, only has 12 episodes. Unless I'm wrong. But can he beat Goku? Yes, he can. I will not elaborate. So, what makes Danny Phantom great? Right? As I'm sure you were wondering when you when you got here. The Zoomers and Goth Girls? Oh, I forgot a slide about... I forgot about the Goth Girls. Kind of. You'll see. Okay. This is where we're getting a little bit serious. Danny Phantom, for the show that it was, right, for all its flaws, for all the fact that it was a kid's cartoon, it did have very interesting personal relationships between the characters, in between all of the... in between all of the chaos, the comic relief, the, you know, ghost shenanigans. And also a very interesting, like, main core theme about coming of age, adolescence, the teenage experience. It's surprisingly very rooted in reality. It is not a flaw, you're right. It's not a flaw to be a cartoon, but it does mean that the standards are lower. And I think you can definitely see that with other content made specifically for children. Especially, I suppose you would say, modern day cartoons, where you find the edges are often quite sanded down. You find that they don't really bother with interesting relationships between the characters, because why, if it's just for children? That seems to be the current perspective. I still have not seen the Lilo and Stitch live action remake, but I have heard that it is among the trend of dumbing down these remakes, these original films and storylines, because, again, the perspective, even amongst these like huge, giant corporations that own all the money and all the IPs, are convinced that they do not have to try and they do not have to make any good quality media because it's for children. And I'm getting on a tangent. Yeah, 2D characters with 3 dimensions. That's a very good way of putting it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, even live action. Who is it that I watch for movie stuff? It's the... I will never remember his name. I'll find it later. But this one person I watch has seen all 4 of the... and done a review of all 4 of the Disney Channel movies. It's not iZombie, but it's about zombies. And the one girl's an alien. I am very bad at talking about anything. But it's for children, and it's framed in a very immature way, and all the character relationships are very immature. It's that same sort of repeated cycle of we don't have to try. And unfortunately, it seems to be kind of bleeding through even in media made for adults, especially like mainstream media. And I mean, I'm beating a dead horse when I say this. I know people have been saying this since like 2016, probably much before that. But it is, yeah, it's an unfortunate normal occurrence now, yeah. Yeah. Kids are a lot more intelligent than you'd expect. Well, than mainstream media would expect, I suppose. Anyway, moving on. I think the pinnacle of the character relationships kind of starts, and it doesn't end, but it definitely starts with Jack and Maddie Fenton, because they play a really fascinating role within the entire story as a whole. They have this incredibly complex relationship with Danny, both in his phantom and human form. Yeah, I'm getting distracted by the comments. But because they are seen as antagonists in both his human life and his ghost life, much more so in his ghost life, ghost form, since they are literally trying to kill him. But then there's also the very interesting dynamic of them being his parents and having the control over him that parents do. And that also ties back into the themes of adolescents coming of age. They are his parents. They are all powerful in the eyes of a child, or in the life of a child. But at the same time, they are antagonists. They are not correct in many of their views. And I talk about, well, I have a slide for it a little bit later, but it is really interesting. They are genuinely some of my favorite antagonists because they aren't really antagonists. They are very redeemable characters. They genuinely love Danny as their son. They just try to end his existence when he is not their son. Yeah, and it's kind of the perfect storyline and dynamic for teenagers, or tweens, I guess, who would be watching the show at the peak of its release or popularity. Because it is just, isn't that the perspective of a lot of kids? Is like the parents are evil, they're villainous, the adults in your life are kind of all powerful, and breaking away from that is, again, it's part of the themes of adolescence and growing up and coming of age. They are pretty great parents. That's the thing. Like, you look in like the fandom side of things, which is still around. It's been a good decade or two, and it's still around. So that's props to the show, I guess, for that specifically. There was a huge wave back in like the mid tens, where like the perspective from the fandom was like, oh, they are villainous and they're evil and they wouldn't care if they found out he was a ghost. He's, you know, they because parents suck in my I want my I want my family to understand me better, and they don't. It's still going strong, yeah. mm. Goofy is the antagonist in the Goofy movie? I haven't seen the Goofy movie in so long. Wow, that's an old movie. Ooh, I watched it after its peak, so it was a while after it had come out. And it was all there, it was all available, but it wasn't really... So I didn't have access to DSTV. I don't know. I don't think DSTV is a thing in other countries. But it's like the equivalent of like paid cable, I think is what you guys have in the States. I don't know. But because I didn't have it, I first saw it when I was on holiday, and we had a TV that did have it. It had it, and they played like reruns. And when I tell you I was completely obsessed, we were like on a beach. I would not go to the beach. I would stay because I knew it would play at like 2 in the afternoon. So I was like, no, I can't go. I'm watching Danny Phantom. Yeah, satellite TV. That sounds better. Yeah. What do you mean good? You're not a millennial. What's wrong with the millennial? They're fine. You are piecing together my age also. So that's very rude of you. I can't believe you. Anyway, one more cleared throat. Ah. Oi. Okay, next in the interesting characters roster is Jazz Fenton. As you can... So, of course, when I was 14 and Jazz was like 16, I thought she was very, very cool. And I like aspired to be her, and I fully fell for like the I'm old enough to make my own decisions and I'm an adult, and I fell for that hook, line, and sinker. Of course, now looking back, it's very funny to rewatch the show and hear her talk that way. It sucks how perspective changes because 16-year-old me would despise current me. It's purely based on that alone. But she is, unironically, a very well-written older sister. The dynamic between her and Danny is very realistic. It's very fun. They clearly care about each other very much, which means the show should never be remade. Because if it is, they will destroy that entirely, and I say this because they've done that with everything. All of the remakes. They do not know how to write sibling relationships. Or at least siblings that care about each other. Yeah, no, she, like I said, she very clearly... Absolutely, please do not remake. Even Racing, are you on both the streams? Sorry, thank you. Very, very cool support. I don't know why I find that so funny. Do you have at least one of them muted? I can't imagine the delay is very fun. Ah, yes, okay, my imagination. Apologies. Right, so, again, she clearly cares about Danny very much. Mild spoilers for the show. Very early in season 1, she actually finds out that Danny is half ghost. This is, and then chooses to keep the secret for him, and then sort of for the rest of the majority of the series, plays as backup for him without even him knowing. and sort of distracting his parents and like helping him sort of lead this, keep his secret identity, lead the double life. I'm also a sucker for secret identities. It started here. I moved on to Spider-Man a little bit afterwards. For some reason, it's just those two. I don't know why I don't click with like many other superheroes, if any. Superman's cool. I need to watch Superman 2025, but I'm still getting distracted. Right, so she's a great role model. She has a passion in psychology. I believe it's psychology. I think there is some discrepancy there. I think she also talks about like brain surgery and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm myself and am an older sister, so it is very cool to see older sibling rep that isn't trash. Genuinely, it's I think there's a reason Spider-Man is so popular, and I think if Danny Phantom had been I guess maybe a comic first, or maybe not a Nickelodeon cartoon first, it would have maybe reached that same height. But at the same time, I don't think this could have existed as anything other than a kid's cartoon, because, and we'll talk about that later, but there are reasons for it. Right, yeah, okay, so next, the interesting thing about Danny Phantom, right, it's the mundane versus the paranormal. And as it says here, they're both treated with equal weight and importance. Danny gets an F on a test, and that is the plot of the episode. It's not really the B plot. The B plot is the sci-fi, not sci-fi, but the paranormal / sci-fi shenanigans in the background. Because Danny Phantom does kind of go sci-fi, just a little bit, in certain areas. I'm not sure why. It would have been fun to see them double down. Okay, I do kind of know why. Apparently, Butch Hartman being Christian kind of had a bit of a play into it. He didn't really want it to, as I've heard, allegedly, he didn't really want it to have very many like paranormal, actual like haunted, ghostly sort of theming to it, which is why the ghosts kind of don't really feel like ghosts. That's, again, why I think it could only have existed in this space for this demographic as a cartoon. Yeah, it's very sci-fi. I mean, just like the gadgets his parents use, the weapons, the ghost zone in and of itself is a very interesting concept that like isn't really the first thing you would jump to when you think about like ghosts and stuff like that. Like you always talk about like beyond the veil, but to have it pictured in such a specific way as the ghost zone is pretty interesting. And yeah, no, again, it's not like the thing you would originally think of. Yes, Butch didn't want it to be occultism, yeah. Allegedly. I have to say that. It feels very unnatural. And then this is where we circle back again to the story around... oh, I didn't actually fully cover the... Did I? Yeah, no, okay, hang on. I still have stuff to talk about here. So, right, so he gets a F on his test. That's the mundanity of his life. He is facing real, actual consequences for the fact that he is fighting ghosts on this. He's fighting ghosts in his spare time. He doesn't have time. He is losing grades. Yeah, I think that's the term. He's failing in a lot of his classes. Some of the plot lines of the episodes is even him, you know, trying to catch up in his grades. That's like episode 3 is one of the plot lines of that. He has bullies, he has relationships at school, and he has, of course, his sidekicks. Sorry, his best friends, Sam and Tucker, who I actually kind of I don't talk about much in this, if at all. Talk about them afterwards, but... Oh, that's cool. It's the only modern version. It's really the only modern version of truly artificer / techno-necromancy I can think of that was very good. That's cool. I mean, yeah, why not? If it, like, helps in it. I've never heard of that sort of genre. Techno-necromancy. I know there's a video game kind of about it. No idea what it's called. That's pretty cool, though. Yeah, I'm sure it has been a long time since even people who've seen the show have seen the show. Also, this is like This is from, I believe, episode 17, season 1. This specific screenshot. It's beautiful, and it's because they went off model with a lot of the sort of like expressions and poses for Danny. So it actually looks way better than, well, in my personal opinion, I think it looks way better than a lot of the other episodes. But they didn't do it again, which is a bit unfortunate. But what you gonna do? Right, yes, so he has, of course, you know, your typical high school bully. They even make jokes about it in the show, about like the cliche of having the jock, the mean girls, the A-listers is what they're called, and they are very meta about it. They make jokes about it all the time. It's not really taken very seriously, especially not when, you know, that's kind of the only part of Danny's life that he takes less seriously after getting like superpowers, because that's like the cliche, right, where it's, well, cliche, but it's the thing where it's like, oh, I deal with like monsters on a daily basis, you mean nothing to me, but also I have a secret identity, so I can't like just blow you off completely. So that is, it's an interesting sort of way that the show plays with that idea. It's the mundane, the paranormal, it's the balance between the two, and it's very fun, it's very interesting. Okay. Right. Again, this ties into the themes of growing up, adolescence. Danny deals with a lot of stuff on his own. Not entirely on his own, like I said, he has his friends. But ultimately, half of the main antagonists in the show, and the most recurring antagonists in the show, are his parents and Vlad Masters. And that's pretty significant, again, tying into the idea of growing up and realizing maybe the adults in your life are not always correct, and maybe they don't know everything, and maybe they don't, you know, have everything figured out, and they have their own flaws, and they have their own beliefs and understandings of the world that does not align with your own. And that's a huge part of growing up. I certainly found it pretty significant. And it's very interesting in its own way. And it's interesting to see the show sort of explore that, especially when it comes to, okay, not only his parents, but also Vlad Masters. I can't say it without the Masters. Words describing necromancy, undead stuff. Okay, sorry, I was just trying to think of words to describe necromancy / undead stuff that was based in tech / science and not magic. Huh. Maest. Right, yes. So, Vlad, we will call him Vlad, is an extremely influential figure in Danny's life, and not for the better. He is extremely rich, he's extremely powerful, he's a major loser, and he never acts like the adult that he is. But Danny still sees him as an adult. And he is purely, his intimidation comes from the fact that he is an adult. And yes, he's also half ghost, he also has, he has more experience, he has better, like, stronger powers, he's very scheming, he's very knowledgeable, I guess. He plays the chess master, basically. But he's also extremely lame, and I'll talk about this more a bit later again. But it's interesting to see sort of Danny grow through his experiences with these adults in his life who do not act as adults, with the one exception of Mr. Lancer, his teacher. I am not from New Jersey. How could you? That felt really mean, actually. Yeah, but I keep losing my train of thought. Yeah, with the exception of Mr. Lancer, who is his English teacher, I believe. He kind of gets tossed around into whatever class needs teaching. They only really wrote one or two. They wrote two teachers. They wrote the coach, and then they wrote for sports, and then they wrote Mr. Lancer for literally everything else. And then they have the principal, Principal Ishiyama. It's a very sparse, very sparsely staffed school. But right, yeah. So it is very interesting, again. Okay, great, we get to talk more about it. Like I said, Vlad Masters is a loser from the perspective of an adult viewer. But from the perspective of a teen viewer, or Danny specifically, he represents a very real threat. He's an adult to start with. He has a lot more experience. He has the same power set as Danny. He is also using his adulthood for evil, quote unquote, not quote unquote, but like, for lack of a better term. He is friends with his parents and he uses that against him, turning his parents more on him through the process. You see that in A $1 Million Ghost. You see that in, I think, most of the episodes he shows up in, especially Rainstorm. It's very... He's a frustrating villain for me. Because he's so lame, man. He has beef with a 14-year-old. And it's just so dumb. And of course, they're the only two people on the planet who treat their rivalry, this like blood feud, seriously. Because if they had just another person in the room who was Vlad's age to like look at the situation, it would be completely bizarre. It's like, what are you doing? It makes, and I think that's kind of where half the show's comedy comes from after a bit, where it's like, what is even happening between this adult and this child? He is a tryhard. And why is he lame? Because he wants to kill Jack, marry Danny's mom, Maddie, because of this old grudge he has way back in the day. He is basically Elon Musk before we found out how bad Elon Musk was. He's a billionaire. He got all of his money from evil implied villainy ghost activities. So it's kind of implied that he possessed or not possessed. Yeah, that is kind of it, yeah. The third person that questions this rivalry, like, what are you doing? He is kind of Musk. Yeah, it's just... what is it? Yeah, it's implied that he influenced or possessed or manipulated people through using his ghost abilities to make the amount of money that he does. He uses his money solely to make Danny's life worse. He tries to clone him at one point, which is again leaning more into that sci-fi element. It's very dumb. It's very silly. It's a kid's show, so it's kind of always played very lightly, played for laughs, but like his motivations are pretty evil. It's pretty fucked up. So what are you going to really talk about when it comes to Vlad, other than the fact that he is just really lame? And it's very funny looking at it from a retrospective. Just, yeah, very fun. The next most interesting character, depending on who you ask, she is the most interesting character in the show, is Valerie Gray. She is also a 14-year-old. She was a classmate of Danny's. She was part of sort of the popular crowd, again in that very meta sense where they're like where they're grouped up in the haves and the have-nots, the A-listers and everyone else. So she starts off, with the highest of highs. She is an A-lister. She's very popular. She has a very rich, she has a single parent, her father, who he owns a security company, I believe. And anyway, she starts off on top of the world. Parents, rich, great life, very popular. And then by episode, I believe it's episode 10, she loses it all. And it is all completely Danny's fault. Through, a series of events, her dad loses his job because of Danny. She loses all of her belongings in a moving van because of Danny. And she is sort of ousted from the A-listers because of that lack of wealth, which is a very actually, now that I think about it, very interesting way to do it, because the A-listers Danny had nothing to do with. She lost them because she lost money. I don't know. A weird little detail. Anyway, so she basically swears vengeance on yes, it was unwillingly Danny's fault. Like a series of events he couldn't control. There was a puppy involved. The puppy was dead. It was a ghost puppy. It was very cute, but then also very bad. But she swears vengeance on Danny. And then, of course, Vlad comes along in working in the shadows, who then takes that anger and manipulates it and sort of turns her into his attack dog. And she then becomes one of the antagonists, fighting Danny just in the streets whenever he shows up as Fandom. And it's very cool. They have a very compelling relationship because there was also sort of a will they, won't they sort of subplot with them. I believe it was throughout maybe end of season 1, season 2. I'll admit it's not really the part of the show that I like the most, but I really do not begrudge anyone who does like it, because fully understandable. That's a bit sad. He's a phantom. Give me a second. I just got to do some housekeeping. Yeah, boo, bad bot. There we go. Okay. Took me a while. I had to actually open up the moderator page. I've never had to do that before. Yeah. So you're saying they're in a gray area? I'm so sorry. That must have been, yeah. His name's Cujo. It's a very nice little reference. We love Stephen King, I think. He made a bit of a worrying tweet a while ago. Anyway, we like we like them until they're problematic. Uh-oh. Anyway, so yeah, they had a very much of a will they, won't they, and then they ended up won'ting they. And so she is technically Danny's ex, and there's a lot of people, depending on who you ask in the fandom, who believe that she is a much more compelling love interest than what the show pushes, which is Danny's friend Sam. I will admit, Sam and Danny, it feels by the numbers. I don't think there's a way where it couldn't feel by the numbers, but Oh, it's okay. You're allowed to be a Val Danny ship. Not a problem. Yes, it is. It's called the Fandom. It's great. P-H-A-N-D-O-M. It's very funny. So maybe I should have done anyway. Okay, I do actually have a section on Mr. Lancer. Mr. Lancer's great because he is the main antagonist on the mundane side of the story. He's very boring, he's very ordinary. They constantly poke fun at him for being, you know, your lame, middle-aged, unmarried teacher. Lots of yeah, lots of jokes around that. But it is also interesting to see sort of the relationship that he has with Danny, because it is very... he is constantly pushing Danny to be better because he believes that he could be better. And I think that makes him a very, very good teacher. Even if Danny himself does not think so. Yeah, no, it's very... There's a subplot in... well, no, it's the main plot in season 1 at some point, where they have oh god where Danny has to retake an English test, a poetry exam, and he, you know, wants to go play video games instead. Very relatable, very fun. And at some point, Lancer tells him this sob story about his sister, because he has this picture of her in on his desk, and he goes, "Oh, that's my sister. You know, I never get to see her, and it's tragic, but the life of a teacher, it's terrible." And then Danny feels bad, and then the idea was that, oh, that's why he's studying hard, is because he feels bad for his teacher. Not entirely, but you get it. Anyway, so the gag is that it's actually just him in a dress and, you know, beard and all. And I thought that was a very fun gag. I don't know why I'm mentioning it, but I am. Oh yeah, voiced by Ron Perlman. God, I forgot about that. Yes, he is a good teacher. He's a very good teacher. Everyone say, "We love you, Mr. Lancer." Okay. You can tell my feelings on the actual ghostly side of the story, because as interesting as the, you know, the human side of it is, you get the mundanity of school, you get the mundanity of parents and that sort of life. You also get the ghosts, right? It takes the show takes the form of like a monster of the week sort of situation. Every week there's a new ghost that shows up, especially in season 1. Season 2, they start having some repeat customers, and then by season 3, it gets a little bit tired. Season 3 is not a very good. It's not a great season. We will talk about it later. But right, yeah, so you get Skulker. I do not like Skulker even slightly. I thought it was an annoying character when he first showed up. By the time he was showing up, I think like 4 times a season, I was very, very fed up with him. Thank you, Texamandia. Yes, you get Ember. Ember has gotten surprisingly popular recently. I can only imagine it's because goth girls and e-girls are getting more fame and recognition, as they should do. So you get a lot more of, specifically like in fanfic and stuff. Actually, Danny X, oh god, Danny/Ember fics are getting more common, which is something that I've been noticing over time, because my brain's broken. Again, it's been decades. Yes, yeah, Skulker. I should have a pointer. I do not have a pointer. Unfortunate. Yep, I've just got my measly little mouse. This is what happens when we don't use the graphic tablet. Right, so. Ember, Morph/Fix. The recurring characters. Also kind of Johnny, but a little bit not. Johnny's cool. He's a bit slimy, but that's part of the character. I'd actually call it maybe good character writing. But there is an interesting way that the show kind of plays with their ghosts, because some ghosts have documented histories and actually died. Like you have Poindexter here, who was actually a student at the school Danny went to, Casper High, in I believe the 50s. So it's a very interesting thing where it's like some of these were like real people, like Johnny and his girlfriend Kitty. They were like I have no idea what date they were supposed to have died at, but they are very it's either 90s or 80s coded. But it's like very grunge, very he's a motorbiker, he's got all this bad luck, you know, they're very like you know, like the teens who drink in the park, like that kind of thing. I have no idea how to describe it. It's like Grease with more grunge. Ghost lover. But then you also get characters like the Fright Knight, who is represented as more of a concept or a manifestation of a concept, similar to Clockwork, who is not pictured here, where both are sort of representatives of a specific element or a specific thing. Fright Night specifically is like the spirit of Halloween, and then Clockwork is kind of the manifestation of time. And that's a very interesting way that the show kind of approaches ghosts, because it uses a very broad term. And then in the corner here, you have the Ghost King, who appears in one episode, well, 2 episodes. It was a double feature called Rainstorm, where he is very powerful, very evil, very, I think it's Scottish. And he's the king of ghosts. And again, that kind of lends itself to this very like odd, strange world building, which kind of helps it, honestly. It's almost Fever Dream-esque in the way that it works. It's it's fine. Right. Okay. Yes. So Danny, yeah, Clockwork's great. Yeah, the ghosts can have kids. There's a canonical child in the series from the Ultimate Enemy, who is the daughter of the Box Ghost and the Lunch Lady, and she's called Box Lunch. It's crazy. There's like, it's very strange. Hey. I haven't played. You can't say that. I haven't played Deltarune yet. Right, future Danny. Okay. So, Danny the character grows and develops over the course of the show, and he does it very subtly and he does it very interestingly. When we start off, one of the main things is that he is still learning his powers. He's still figuring out the whole secret identity thing. He is very... he's getting better at it, but you can see he's very insecure about the fact that he's not really getting... like, he's not very strong to start off with, and he beats up on himself a lot more than is necessary for the idea of failing. And you can actually see that reflected in the way he acts, well, the way his parents treat him and the way he acts around like things like school and tests, because the Fentons are very intelligent as a family. Jazz is like valedictorian, or I think she's going to be the valedictorian. She is incredibly intelligent, top of the school. Jack and Maddie are literally scientists with, PhDs. They are inventors. Even though they're treated as kind of like crackpots by the whole town, they are ultimately very intelligent. And Danny isn't, or doesn't perceive himself as. And even this is kind of implied to have been the case even before the powers, but the powers definitely don't help. The ghost side of things only worsens what he already felt about himself. It's the insecurities, it's the idea that he's not good enough, and that kind of manifests and shows through both sides of his life, and it's really interesting. It's really fun. And yeah, he has this huge kind of like fear of not being enough and not being better, and that sort of culminates that ultimately then it's not culminates, I can't remember the word, anyway, this all sort of comes to a head, there we go, in the Ultimate Enemy, which is one of the episodes in season 2, where Danny finds out through meeting this new character Clockwork, who represents sort of time and watches the time stream. It's all very superhero-esque. And tells Danny that he... well, actually, no, hang on. I'm misremembering. First, a bunch of assassins come for him to kill Danny, young Danny. And then later he finds out through Clockwork that it's because he will cheat on the upcoming SATs. Well, it's not the SATs, it's the CATs, I think. I don't know why they do that. And because he cheated on it, and Mr. Lancer finds out, and he takes everyone to the local fast food restaurant in order to have this huge sort of like meeting slash interference. Nope, that's not the word. Anyway, yeah, so it's this big meeting intervention to have with Danny, right? And so everyone is there. His Sam, Tucker, Jazz, Maddie, Fenton, and Mr. Lancer. And it's there that there is an explosion at the restaurant. It's for a very silly reason. Again, it's a cartoon. But the ultimate result of that is that all of Danny's loved ones die in one horrific go. And he then, in this alternate timeline, well, in his inevitable future, quote unquote, he then is SAT trademark. That's insane. Really? Weird. Okay. That's like finding out the Happy Birthday song was trademarked. Crazy. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Anyway, so in this future, Danny then goes to live with Vlad, who is the only remaining adult in his life that he can trust, and is also the only one who knows his secret now, the fact that he's half ghost. And this then results in him being so full and torn with grief that he asks Vlad to invent a thing that will tear out the ghost half of him, with the intention of removing his human emotions entirely. So the human emotions will stay in the human body, and then the ghost emotions will go, well, ghosts don't have emotions, theoretically. Again, an interesting way to look at his perspective of things, and in this future alternate reality, it works. And he becomes what is called Dan, who... Let me put this layer up at the top here. Who actually goes on to destroy the entire world. There's something else that happens. That's cool. Sorry, so the copyright on Happy Birthday didn't hold ground? Dang. I mean, I knew it was like fine now, but for a while it was like copyrighted. It's cool that it's not though, that's crazy. It's always weird. Yeah, so... but that's the thing, it's like he treats it as if he's fated to become evil. And the show almost treats it that way too. It becomes another one of his insecurities, where the episode goes on, he defeats him, he sets the timeline back to the way it was supposed to be, he doesn't cheat on the CATs, which was what got him there in the first place, and ultimately he's supposed to have learned a lesson. But the implications at the end of the episode are a bit interesting. What are the implications? I don't even know what I'm saying. But at the very end of the episode, they sort of have this teaser of like, oh, he'll come back, you can't get rid of him forever. And then, you know, Dan himself, the older version of him, is convinced that he is an inevitability. Hello, yes, I do love Danny Phantom. We are on, I want to say, we are just topping the first hour of this talk about it. Ah, yes, Clockwork did cheat a little bit. Well, yeah, he erases his future self, and therefore he exists outside of a reality, but he still exists, and he still wants to make himself inevitable. And it's pretty insane, conceptually. You know, you are your own worst enemy, etc., etc., etc. But that's kind of where his weaknesses are, but then there's also his strengths. He pushes himself extremely hard. He never really sees the fact that he pushes himself super hard. He focuses on his failures, not his strengths. And that's also super relatable. He's incredibly hard on himself, and I think there's plenty of people who will sort of relate to that exact experience. Yeah. Let's see. Right, so the show makes no sense. Right, so, going back on the fact that just between the ultimate enemy, the fact that his whole family dies, that whole situation, the show constantly touches on these extremely like interesting, intriguing, darker elements, and then never follows through with it. It never sort of like delves into it. It can't. It's a kids show. But there are these like really, really small hints of something more. mostly the fact that he is a half ghost, which does not happen. It doesn't exist. And it actually makes for incredibly good fodder for fanfics. Because, of course, people are going to want to explore that more, where it's like, why, what do you mean he's half dead? What does that mean? What does that do? Even in the intro, he doesn't look happy when he's turned into a half ghost, when he's in the accident that causes everything. He is screaming, he looks unhappy, he's like shocked when he sees himself as Phantom. We never actually get to see the first, like, the moments after or the moments before. Like, we kind of get a little bit of it in the first episode of season 2, but that's a little bit different because it's time travel shenanigans / alternate universe shenanigans. So it plays out a little bit differently from like the initial accident. But the fact that it it's crazy. It's a bizarre setting for a show, and that kind of brings me again to the point where it's like, this could not exist as a show for adults, because if it was something for like a general audience, for like all ages, they would not have made the concept of a half ghost. They would not have gone in the sci-fi direction. We probably would have seen something more akin to a horror movie or like a horror series or like Supernatural, where it is just like, it's spooky and it's ghosts and it's horrible and it's horrifying, and it's not in the original media. It's in the original show. It's very playful. It's always played for laughs. There's like a whole episode where, because Danny is a ghost, he gets sort of like controlled by this ghost controlling scepter, and that's kind of horrifying. Where it is just, yeah, it's Schrodinger's boy. Where it's like, oh, okay, but if he's getting controlled by this and he's having like, most of the time he can't fight back against it. Like, he only manages to fight back against it when he is confronted by Sam and Tucker, and they sort of talk him out of it, and they remind him of, you know, it's like, it's the classic "I know you're in there somewhere" speech that we get in like cartoons. Well, different media depending. But it's interesting because it's like, okay, well, how ghost are you? Because the show plays it as like, oh, he has powers and he has this cool alter ego and it's all very fun. But also, he died. He did, in essence, die. He got trapped in sort of this space between realms. And again, that makes for incredibly interesting, like, fodder for, like, good fanfics and explorations deeper into the concept. Schrodinger's boy, as you said. That's the thing. It's like, they don't follow through. Of course they don't follow through. But I wish they would. I wish they had. That would have been so sick. Yeah, it's crazy. And I've seen some really incredible pieces of fiction that just delve deeper into the what ifs and the ideas and the concepts. Dissection fics were pretty popular back in, like, again, like, I think the 10s-ish, 2012 to 2016, 17-ish. They're still kind of popular. I still see them coming out every now and then, but they're less so. In the same way that, like, they got really edgy around that period, along with, like, oh, Maddie and Jack are terrible parents and they're awful and horrible. Nature is healing and we are getting more wholesome, the Fentons are trying their best kind of stories. I will talk a lot about fanfics, if you let me, because unfortunately it's been a long time since the show aired. Fanfics and Tumblr was all I had. So, forgive me if I let myself ramble for a little bit. Those were the times. They're so depressing though. It's kind of the Superman effect where it's now that everything in real life sucks, people want more wholesome stuff. Oh, that's interesting. Also, what you mentioned with remaking the show, it's why I heard the Winx Club remake, the live action one, failed. It went too far into the fantasy. I am so glad you said this. No, it didn't. I mean, it did. But the original Winx did as well. The original Winx was about fairies. I watched that as a kid. I loved it as a kid. And then I watched season 1 of the Winx remake. It was... They turned it into Riverdale. And that... not my thing. It was a little bit like... the characters were a bit too edgy, they had conflict where the conflict didn't need to exist, they were just unpleasant people to each other a lot of the time. I think there were more problems wrong with the show than the fact that it went too far into the fantasy. Just my little 2 cents on the matter. The original Winx was great. I watched up to like season 5. I don't even know if they had that many seasons. It was like the 5th costume change. That's how I'm judging the seasons. Yeah, that was the only thing I could think of. I was like, oh, okay, they saw how popular Riverdale was. Because that was like around the time where they were doing that with everything. They tried to do that with the Powerpuff Girls as well, didn't they? And it's like they had the script come out and it was the exact same story. Well, exact same kind of like style of storytelling, just done with the done with the Powerpuff Girls of all things. So yeah, it's not a good track record with remakes. I actually, if they ever did remake this, which I mean I highly doubt they ever will, I really think it might be dead in the water. Well, actually, hang on, I'll talk about that more later, but I hope they never make a live action version. While I was looking for images for this exact PowerPoint, I'm calling it a PowerPoint, I did it all in Photoshop, but anyway, I found a bunch of like AI generated like clickbaity stuff that was like Tom Holland is playing Danny Phantom, and it had like it was him with the white hair and the green eyes, and it just, oh my god. Could you imagine? I know it's like Spider-Man, but that's a little bit too much. CW, yeah. Everything must be love triangles. Yeah. Please don't look it up. Please don't. Save yourself. Yeah, and I guess since this is the only image I have of Sam and Tucker, I guess I should maybe mention them as well. Weirdly enough, they kind of don't have... Like, I don't have a lot to say on them. They're not really my favorite part of the show. They are certainly there, and they're fun. I like Sam. She's cool. Ultra recycler vegetarian. I mean, the show takes quite a couple pot shots at her for like that. It's kind of part of like your 2000s haha vegan is bad and lame sort of humor, which never really gelled with me. I thought it always felt a bit mean-spirited, but she's a good character. Ultimately, you know, she cares about people and animals and plants, and Tucker is fun. I mean, both characters have their flaws. It's interesting that Sam comes from a rich family, but she's very alt. She goes to a lot of protests. She hangs out with all the quote-unquote wrong people, according to like her parents. You know, that sort of teen rebellion comes through very strongly with her, which you could argue tie into the themes again of adolescence. She kind of acts as the the gas to Danny's sort of turn on the parents. It's like, oh, well, of course your parents are like that. That's how parents are, like that kind of perspective. I mean, I only really hear her say that in episode 1, so I can imagine they abandoned that sort of language pretty quickly, but yeah. Where's Pedro Pascal? Why are we doing fan casting? You joke, but Jack Black is Jack Fenton I would pay to see. Actually, hang on. I am Steve. Pedro Pascal is Mr. Lancer. The dude from The Bear. It would, okay, no, I don't want to say it. I was gonna say the Liver King would make a... yeah, no, I don't look up recent news about him. Oof. Yeah, it's... Who the hell would play Jack Fenton? Because he is quite literally larger than life. He's a fantastic character, don't get me wrong. Like, him and Maddie are actually just very, very good characters. Very well written, very interesting. Every time they're on screen, they act as an antagonist. They act as comedic relief. the show kind of goes out of its way to make them less threatening through their comedic relief, which I think is probably a pretty good move. But it's fun. You're never actually afraid of them as even like a kid watching, even if they do ultimately, because that's a good thing. I genuinely think that's a great thing. I think the fact that they are incompetent plays so well into the characters, because it also makes sense that that's why Danny is half ghost, because they are so incompetent. Of course they wouldn't practice proper lab safety. Not Jason Momoa. It's Jack. What are we doing? Okay. Right, so season 3 was not good. Moving on. The show ended rather abruptly. It was kind of hemorrhaging money by the end of its run. It was too expensive to produce, and so it got shut down pretty early, and they only gave them a couple of episodes notice. I'm sure we've all heard that story before. It's still a very common practice nowadays. Thank you, Netflix. And ultimately, the end of the show kind of always feels jarring, and it always feels like there was so much potential in the series that was never reached. It was rushed. It was very rushed, and it was it was a sad time, because they tore apart all the parts of the story that made it interesting. Danny lost his secret identity. He was revealed to the world and his parents. His parents accepted him. It all ended in hugs. Vlad was revealed as a half ghost and also evil, and then was banished to the edge of space on a asteroid. That's the whole plot of the episode. There's an asteroid heading towards Earth, and what was the actual plot? It was a ghost asteroid, so it couldn't be destroyed by missiles. But then, it's been so long since I watched it. It's not good. Right, yes, and anyway, so Danny gets all the ghosts in the ghost zone to come to Earth, and they turn the whole Earth intangible, which is just to make it, as it says, intangible. The asteroid goes through without harming it, and ta-da, they've saved the day, huzzah. At the very end of it, Tucker becomes mayor of Earth. I think that was something that happened. They really just threw everything out the window. Sam and Danny got together. It was, again, very rushed, no chemistry. They had absolutely no lead into it. Honestly, that is kind of the major problem with the show. It's kind of expected they'll get together, and the show expects you to expect them to get together, and then they never actually put any work in developing chemistry, developing any sense of romance. It's very one-sided. Sam is in love with Danny and never mentions it, and everyone makes jokes about it. So obvious, how could he not know? He's oblivious. But also, they never have a single moment alone together, because it's always the trio doing stuff. I know I'm complaining about the romance in a kid's show, but it's depressing. It's never not going to be depressing. I like the fanfics where they do it well and they actually give them a good chemistry, and they like, again, it's fix it. It's fix it fix. What you gonna do? They're always gonna exist. Yeah, Ghost Asteroid was a weird concept, but you know what was also a weird concept? The rest of the show. I'm not disagreeing with you though, it was a very wild one. Not their best work, and I don't know, it lost itself in season 3, and I could point fingers and say it was because of so and so and this, but I will not. I first off, I don't know enough about it to say for certain, and also I'm not I'm not an expert, and I don't know, and I don't want to cast stones, so anyway. The show ended, and then, of course, years and years and years passed. It is no longer 2007. But... the fandom for Danny Phantom has survived years. It has survived a lack of content. It has survived a complete lack of knew anything. It has survived the controversies around Butch Hartman. It has survived, I think, 2 massive, like, Tumblr shifts in, like, culture and space. It will never die. And as long as I'm alive, it will not. It's great. It's fantastic. I highly recommend AO3. There's also some very good, very old fanfics on fanfiction.net. I didn't put it here because they are very old and a lot of them are unfinished. You're probably not going to get a finished one of them anytime soon. They all stopped being written in like 2015. But AO3 is still very much alive. It's still very much operating. Tumblr is the biggest space for well, yeah, it's the biggest space for the fandom that I can see, that I've found in my years of looking. And also, in 2023, a comic was released, officially licensed by Nickelodeon, made by Gabriella Epstein, and it's great. It's pretty fun. It's a glitch in time. It's the return of Dan Phantom, the character. There's also a new one, the Fair Game, bringing you back Wolf and Valerie, that is slated to come out, I believe, in November of this year. So stuff's kind of happening, and I really do think it's maybe a false hope. I'm not kind of keeping myself very optimistic about it. It's very good, very cool. I'm optimistic, but very reservedly. Yeah, it's we're so back, but also, I hope, I don't know. Yeah, so that is Danny Phantom, and that's all I can tell you about Danny Phantom. And now, on to the drawing section. Hey, that was just over an hour. That's fantastic. It could have been so much longer. Right, so what else can I tell you? Okay. Right, so another interesting thing about the fandom space is it's a very popular headcanon. So much so that you even see it in fanfics that have not anything related to it. The idea that after Rainstorm, when Danny defeated the Ghost King, he then became the de facto Ghost Prince by, defeating and overpowering the king. So there's a lot of royal Danny, like Prince Danny, King Danny fan art out there. And it's very good. A lot of it. It's a very interesting thing. Again, a lot of good fanfics sort of exploring that concept. And that's kind of the stuff that comes up after... Hang on. There you go. There you go. Now you can be seen. Hello, welcome. Have you been there the whole time? Let's see. And yeah, pretty chill. How to draw him with bling. Actually, I don't really draw Danny Phantom fan art. This will be the first time I draw it in quite a long time. The reason being, I can never get his hair right. And if I can't get his hair right, then what is even the point? Or at least that's always been my perspective. Huzzah. Let me change something real quick. There we go. Save, and then here. Okay. And we have changed the setting. Ooh, should I change? I'm not gonna do it. I have absolutely no idea how to do it. I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's fine. Hey. Oh, I should probably also mention this is definitely the thing that kicked off my white-haired character fascination. What I was trying to do was change the stream on Twitch from just chatting to art. I can do it. Okay. Oh, and I can add tags. I haven't had tags this whole time. Hang on, guys, I'm doing things. I have no idea how Twitch works. Is this a bad time to say that? It's not. Twitch scares the absolute daylights out of me because I do not know what any of these settings mean, and I'm scared that I will push a button and I will implode it. I actually did that. The whole week I've been trying to get cross-streaming to work, and I have been going live on Twitch just at random hours of the day. I actually got my first follower while doing that. I did not have my mic on. They were looking at nothing. I don't know who they are, but I have great respect for them. I do not... it's just, it was a very bizarre time. But I don't think I can do that now that I've officially said I'm here now. Let's see, art. Huzzah! Done. My god, what do you mean people can find you when you use tags? This is never done, unheard of. Okay. Okay? Okay. Okay? Okay. We did it. We did it, gang. We did it together. We did it as a unit. And Twitch did not explode. Which was a risk. Yeah, I can't actually add custom emoticons onto Twitch yet as well, which sucks because I was going to put Talibot up there. I was going to make it all customized, I was going to be sick. I mean, maybe not this stream, I was going to do it next stream. And then I found out I couldn't at all because you have to have a certain number of, I think, followers and or subscribers. I don't know what they call them. I don't know what it means. I know that you can subscribe, but it costs money, I think. I don't think you can do that yet because I'm also... I don't know how it works. What's my Twitch name? It's Hannah... It's Hannah Smith, same as here, but with a Chloe. So it's Hannah Chloe Smith, CHLOE. I should maybe put a tag for it or a link for it down. God forbid. God forbid I make things easier for you guys. Can I edit? Oh, I can! My god, I'm learning things all over the place today. Join me on Twitch. No, I can't give you the moderator link. That's not good. I am a professional. Whoa, guys, should I put the stream key up here as well, just in case you want that? I don't think I'll even joke about that. Actually, one of the issues I was having trying to set up dual streaming is that my Twitch stream key does not exist. Don't ask me how. It doesn't exist. I spent ages trying, like, Mandry and I spent ages trying to get the thing working, and eventually we were like, okay, maybe it's the key, right? Okay, and I'd copied and pasted it into the into OBS, and we were like trying to get it to work, and yay, migrated from YouTube. Ah, ad-free experience. I understand completely. Oh, is the text in... How did I miss that? That's not good. I didn't change that, did I? Woof. That's depressing. Okay, save. Oof. I hope you have an ad-free experience. I am sorry about the ads on YouTube. It's a good time to say that Firefox is my current browser of choice. For no reason. It's just, you know, since we're talking about ads. I am drawing down. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. We're starting again. This is where my house of cards comes falling down and you find out I've just been drawing the same person every single time. Aw, thanks, Human Racing. Fellow homie. Okay, hang on. Danny Phantom. And hair. Because it is a very stylized show. But I have seen far too many people draw it so well in a different style. It's so flat on the top. I want to give it. There we go. Okay. All the same characters. Yeah, no, okay. Hair's looking better. We're learning. We're evolving. Okay. Let's see, what else can I say? Oh, so on Tumblr, the fandom is very active, and one of the things that they do is hold sort of events and special kind of stuff. I don't know how many other fandoms do that, because I'm not really on a lot of fandoms. I have mine. But they do a lot of fun stuff. There's Fannie Mae, PHANNIEMAY, where in the latter half of May, there's a bunch of prompts, and I forget if it's for fan art or specifically fanfics, but they do both. I think they accept both. Let's see. God, there's so many more events. There's a Halloween event, like Inktober, but for Danny Phantom. I think that's also in the latter half of the month. Let's see. Mr. Danny Fenton. My God, it's Daniel. Okay. Let's see. Are you two fighting on the Twitch stream? My God. A turf war in my Twitch chat. Mods, sheriff them. I'm kidding, there's no mods. It's just me. I should maybe not say that. Tyler would get hella bloated eating bread. Oh, that's a good point, but I don't know if I could do that. It would be more realistic. That's a lot of stuff to remember, specifically about diet. But, I mean, hey. Why not torture her a little bit more? She will never enjoy mac and cheese. So truly her life will be hell. Oh, what is that chin doing? Sometimes we say things. Okay, let's actually try and get some shape going here with the body. Ooh, let's see. What else do I have to talk about? There's, Dawn to Dawn is merrily releasing episodes for season 2. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. But Hikaru, Hikaru's dead summer, the summer Hikaru died, is absolutely stealing the show for me completely. I cannot wait for every new episode that comes through. And I say this because it reminds me a lot about Danny Phantom. It's Danny Phantom if they actually got to say and do all the screwed up stuff that they kind of touch on in the show. Except not really. It's a very different series. It's got a different plot. It's got a different story. It's got ghosts in it, but it's more about like eldritch horrors. But God, it's good. It's so good. It's also got white-haired anime character, so very up my alley. No. Oh, that's amazing. What was it like? Oh, I imagine it would just be like watching a movie in the theater, but oh, that's so cool. Dun, dun, dun. Oh God, I hope one day I'll be able to catch a premiere of something in theater. There was a friend of mine who, no, I'm lying. It wasn't my friend. It was it was someone else. God, way back in the day when Steven Universe was still being released for the last season, I was very into it. I liked all the think pieces that were on Tumblr about it at the time, and I was kind of following it just for that. The ending kind of let me down a little bit, but just the ending itself was premiered at a Comic-Con, I think in the States, and I was so insanely jealous. Anyway. It was an enemy. Nah, I think my friend went to Comic-Con, like a different Comic-Con in South Africa that year, and so I got my wires crossed a little bit. Okay, let's make you a little bit smaller, because you look like a pinhead. There we go, much better. It's also that the suit is very skin tight, which means I actually have to know my anatomy. God forbid. Yeah, I think they've released all of at least the early parts of Dun 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 Season 2 that was premiered. I think so, because I was too weak. I watched Season 1, I loved Season 1, and then I went and read the manga, so I'm way ahead in like the plot. And I kind of regret doing it because it's taken the shine out of watching the anime now, because it's I know what's gonna happen, so I'm just waiting for them to get to the next plot point that I find interesting personally, instead of just because it's really well animated and it's got beautiful color theory. It's such a huge part of the show as a whole. You see when they switch from the not earthworm, the sandworm being the main antagonist. It switches from a very like dusky yellow, sickly looking yellow, and then when the evil eye becomes the villain, it switches to a purple, and those colors are complementary, and it's just so well done. And I want to enjoy that and the plot, but as it stands, I ruined so much of it for myself that I can't enjoy just the peak filmmaking that is Dan Dan. I'm talking it up very highly, aren't I? I hope you guys don't think less of me or my tastes. I like what I like. It's not super highbrow a lot of the time. If it's fun, it's fun. Absolutely. There's an appeal to it for the fact that it's an adaptation and there's so much more to it than just in the manga. It's a fully immersive experience. The music, the visuals, the color, of course it all adds so much more to it, but I'm so plot focused in everything I watch that to have that plot sort of almost stripped from it as a point of interest makes it real sad for me. I don't know. Sick. Oh, I guess that would be it. Hey, if you watch a premiere for something, you just have to wait for the episodes to come out. Oh, and then you gotta wait longer. Okay, wait, no, there's a downside to this too. I see. Hi, Philosophy. I hope so too. Pain dayo. Mega yabai. I tend to default to this pose, I've noticed, when it comes to specifically, I think I did this exact same pose when I was trying to draw Danny the last time, and this was like years ago. I clearly have a set image in mind. Ugh, we're looking rough. I think we'll probably stick to sketches. I want to draw a lot more, and we will not have time if I try to polish this up. It's also a very simple outfit. It's fine, but it's... Oh, do you think I can do it? Do you think I can do it? Off by heart. Nope, I can't. Okay. It was worth a shot. Ah, I see. Do I see? What is that? What does the emblem look like? Ah, I see. I know, I'm such a fake fan. But you know what did take me the longest time to realize? That this is supposed to be a D and P for Danny Phantom. So you have the D here, and then you have P. Like that. It's cool, isn't it? It took me so long to notice. Yeah, simple is good sometimes. Especially in the exact style of Danny Phantom. Like, this is kind of more... It's not even really my style, it's just, it's a style. Actually, that's maybe a good point. Maybe I should actually have a bit more of an idea in mind. Then your classic janky hands. Okay, we're calling this a warm-up sketch because I'm embarrassed. I feel like I should not be doing this. Him in his high-top boots. So, of course, as you go, there's a lot of different fandoms, a lot of different AUs, a lot of different sort of ideas behind what different elements we can sort of bring into it. For example, the thing Danny is wearing is always called a hazmat suit, but it does not look like one. It's a superhero costume. It's more like spandex. So there is the hazmat AU, which is everything's the same. It's just that Danny's in an actual hazmat suit. And then people tend to play around with the concept of the actual, like, mask part of it. Let me find... It's very Among Us. So you'll have... like that, like that, like that. Let's get our proportions right. Whoa. Realistic depictions of Jack Fenton in the skin-tight suit. Ah! Why would you do that with me? To me. What, you guys don't see a hazmat suit and think Among Us? What do you mean it's not 2020 anymore? Among... Yep, so depending on where you go and who you ask, it'll be a proper gas mask, or it'll just be your proper hazmat. And then, of course, depending, again, on who you ask, it'll be extremely damaged, just to kind of up the creepiness factor. So you'll have, like, rips here, rips there. There's also a very popular sort of, like, not even an AU, just like an extra little thing people sometimes add to Danny, where they'll give him Lichtenberg scars. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. Lichtenberg scars. Like Lichtenberg. Which, if you don't know, are just like sort of these lightning bolt sort of patterns that people get when they're electrocuted. And the common agreement among the fans is that is the way he died in the Portal accident. It was through the sheer like electrical overload. Also because he turned the on switch and on-turn electricity and then go boom. Oh no. I mentioned Among Us and that's all you guys have been talking about. Gang. We'll see. Okay. Among Us night. Maybe. This is a very strong no, almost maybe. I don't know. I don't want to commit to that. That sounds scary. I haven't played Among Us in years. Anyway, okay. I love feats. I love drawing feats. There you go. Austra's legs far too long. Oh, can you tell I've been drawing all day? My brain is fried. Cannot get my proportions right. Let's see what else. And then of course there's the King Danny. There's ways to do it. A lot of them are pretty sad. Sometimes they wrap a reveal into it where his parents find out that he's the Ghost King. He has a responsibility far beyond what mere mortals can understand. Actually, there was a really interesting one that kind of made it very eldritch, where like the people, like Sam, Tucker, Jazz at one point, Vlad especially, is who gets some of the worst of it. It's very Fae-esque. It's Danny disappears for a bit and then he comes back, and he comes back changed and different. He's like a little bit more creepy and a little bit more eldritch. And then slowly the story reveals that he has become the new Ghost King, and he's sort of connected to the zone, and he operates as the zone's core. That's also a very common thing referenced in fan fictions. It's never mentioned in the show outright. A lot of stuff is not mentioned in the show outright, but then becomes... Are you starting? Nice. Okay, no more Among Us. Oh god, I've learnt my lesson. I'll never bring it up again. Okay. Yeah, no, you're right. You have moved on from Among Us. You're talking about Harambe now. When was the last time? Oh, I'm sorry. Never forget. What else? Oh, I finished watching Apothecary Diary Season 2 as well, literally yesterday. Had to wait for the rest of the episodes to come out and got distracted watching Freerun instead. Very good. Is it called Freerun? It is called Freerun. Sorry. I'm getting... I still don't know why it's only showing Twitch chat in the overlay, because it should be showing more, but I suppose can only do so much, eh? Hang on, how did I do this here before? Okay. Maybe I'll get better as we go, wouldn't that be fun? You'll be able to see me learning. Or maybe not. Actually looking at this real... No, maybe not. Oh, I cannot get the eyes right. Was the tone similar to Fairly Odd Parents? Not really, no. It was for a slightly older demographic. It was aimed more towards teens, tweens, early teens. All the characters are teenagers, and you can see that through sort of more emotional depth, more character development, little bit more. I mean, sense of humor is kind of the same. It very rarely gelled with me when I was 14, and now it's kind of just puns across the board. Oh, that's sick. Sorry. I remember one of the fanfics being straight up horror where Dash accidentally kills Danny and it causes that separation from ghost and body, and Danny haunts Dash and Dash is shunned by the community. Yeah, no, that sounds like something. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of fics like that. The one that I think of, that I immediately thought of when you said that, was one where Dash accidentally kills Danny, but then Danny just goes back to school the next day, like nothing happens to him, he just comes back, and then just scares the shit out of Dash. It's a little bit more lighthearted, it's not that dark. We're gonna ignore how this looks like the Ice King's crown. I have images I can use to reference for the Crown of Fire, but I simply will not. I don't know why I've got them posed so. Looks like a K-pop star like this. Doctor Who? I watched, God, which Doctor did I think it was the 13th, no, 11th Doctor. I do not know the actor's name. His partner was the sidekick was the redhead. I think it was like around 2012 it was coming out. I wanted to watch more of it, but Netflix only went up to the end of the 12th Doctor. I think it still only goes up to the 12th Doctor, and it doesn't have anything before that. No David Tennant. Yeah, it was the one after David Tennant. Matt Smith? I don't know. Matt Smith. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's no relation. It's never a relation. Listen, everyone is called Smith. So many people. I could throw a rock and hit a Smith. There's too many of us. Everyone was some kind of Smith. We had the blacksmiths. We had the I don't know, shoesmiths. Coppersmiths. Too many Smiths. And then I think at some point it became one of those very general Anglican names that people just kind of got when they went to a certain country, so. Big family. Exactly, yeah. We're all kind of related if you go back far enough. I am resisting the urge to just make this cloak massive. And he's trapped under it. Okay. Fine. Throne. We doing sketchies. could do better. Yeah, I'll do better. Sometimes art is just looking at something and going, I've made something better in the past. I should be able to do this better now. This is a very classic royal pose as well. This is very out of character for him, actually. Is it? It's not for season 1. And I guess technically season 3, he becomes a millionaire in season 3 and then like loses all his friends, changes, gonna blow up and act like I don't know nobody, that kind of thing, you know? But we don't count season 3. Season 3 kind of rolls back a lot of the character development that he gets. It's one of the many reasons it's not very good. My main goal is to What's season 3? Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Listen, especially if you go back far enough, I'm probably related to like half the people in Wales. I don't know, man. And I never even been to Wales. I have one family member who has a surname that came from Wales. And that is why I'm making the assumption. It's a bit funny to have him doing this dramatic pose and he's still in that suit. Let's see, some people redesigned the suit to make it more interesting. Which I've actually never really, like, I'll take it or leave it, but like, I kind of prefer just the suit classic. Not in this style. I think only just in the show style. Or sometimes very specific fan artists can do it well enough that it looks really good in their specific style. And that's something I can't ever really do. So I'll just have to keep on keeping on. Hope. Pray. This is giving... It's giving, guys. It's giving. Modern slang scares me. It scares me even more when I actually use modern slang. Okay. I think that's probably fine. I think that's also the Ice King's throne. I think that's a very jumbled together. Okay. Let's see, what else can I talk about? There's also a couple of very good crossover fics. I don't think any of them are finished, though. None of the ones I've found, at least. Let's see. Yeah, it's giving Skibbity Riz, brain rot, alpha core, in my era. Yeah. What is my job if not to torture you? I didn't do a great job of it with the slideshow. I was supposed to be in character the whole time. It was like, the best show that's ever been made. And then I got like halfway through the intro and I just went, oh, I can't do that. I suck at this. I can't do it. Ooh. Have I played a warrior? No, I've never heard of it. Warrior, a warrior. A warrior. Ah, it looks amazing. I'm sorry, that's such a good art style. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, immediately found immediately found fan art. Sick. Hang on. Cool. Okay. I'll come back to this later. That looks so cool. It's not made by... Oh, it's a bullet hell game. Okay. It's not made by the Helltaker people, is it? I'm seeing you. Tell me the truth. Ah! You son of a... Every time. It all comes back to Helltaker. Every time. Y'all are just degenerate. Damn it! I don't know. Maybe I'll play it on stream. It's not inappropriate, is it? 18 plus. NSFW. What's the term? Ooh, it's got a Wikipedia article. A Warrior is a 2024 bullet hell video game by independent developer Lucas Van Ripper Piscores. It revolves around a mechanic named Ulo who, controlled by the player, fixes broken machines while avoiding female ghosts who she later kisses after each level. Ah, I see. I see. You almost got me. You just want to watch girls kissing. Okay. That's very funny. Okay. It looked so good. It was about ghosts. Okay, it's fine. I want to watch Supernatural as well, for the same reason. It's got ghosts. Not for the girl kissing reason. Oh no. If we're degenerates, what does that make you? The only good one here. I'm honest and wholesome. Anyway, back to my Danny Phantom fan art. Oh god, I don't even what else can I... Ooh, there's a cute headcanon where he just does not grow tall. He does not inherit Jack's genes. He's just little. Very cute. Right, yes. Okay, so ghost cores. Ghost cores are like the essence of a ghost, and it's kind of in the chest. It's like where the heart sort of is. And it's like a heart, it's all the internal organs. It's the core essence of the ghost. It's the brain and the soul and everything wrapped into one. And it's used very commonly in fanfics. It's to the point where you don't have to explain what it is, because everyone who's reading the fanfic will know what it is. And it's very cool, very fun. Oh, and I didn't even talk about Spectra. If you like ghost kissing. Hang on, let me see if I can... Her whole thing is that she wants eternal youth, and she gets it from... she wants eternal youth, and she gets it from sort of like draining the emotional essence. Nope, that's not gonna happen. Of kids and people, just people in general. And so she plays the therapist, and she plays the school's therapist. And it's in Jazz's episode in season 1 where she realizes Danny is Fenton. And then before she realizes he's Fenton, she convinces him to go to Spectra for therapy because she thinks he's like having these sort of like he's sort of becoming this troubled adolescent because he keeps missing classes, he keeps failing his grades, he's having all this trouble keeping up in school. And she, of course, very logically thinks that it's because of, you know, some trouble that he's having sort of emotionally, sort of like due to their parents, which is what she blames a lot of things on before she believes in ghosts. And yeah, no, it's pretty cool. It's a very compelling episode for that reason, where it's her acting within the established characterization we have of her and developing her character over the course of the episode after she finds out about Danny. And especially once she realizes Spectra is not who she seems to be, because she does seem to, she plays the role of the therapist, but everyone who goes to her feels worse off because she's quite literally just draining all the happiness out of them. What do we? Yeah, she bullies children to feed on their angst. Ah, I see. Some people have opinions about Spectra. Yeah, the show has an interesting history when it came to designing their female characters, adult female characters. Case of the Pixar Mom, I believe. I am also kind of, yeah, I don't know, don't want to mention it in case. Don't want to make things awkward. Okay. You're not wrong, eh? Everyone who worked on cartoons back then. Yeah, I mean, I image searched Spectra Danny Phantom, and you can imagine what some of the top results were. But I ignore it. Because I'm wholesome. Oh god. Yeah. Aren't you lucky from the things I shield your precious stream viewing eyes from? Oh, right, yeah. Tucker being a closet furry. That's very fun. It was God, it was like one comment in one episode. But I can embrace the headcanon. Well, actually no, it was pretty blatant. It was a yeah, Tucker furry confirmed. Yeah, Tucker gets some of my least favorite moments in the show, unfortunately. Yeah, it is unfortunately a 2000s cartoon, and it comes with kind of the trappings of that. There's actually very few things I can watch sort of earnestly that come from the 2000s. I mean, specifically, I'm a bit too critical of it. Just the way that like women are sort of written in early 2000s media, and the way women are treated in early 2000s media. I'm a little scared we're kind of going back to that a little bit. Because, you know, we had a huge backlash towards like woke stories where it was like the Terminator's a woman now and the writing of the whole movie's bad, but because a woman's in it, that's the reason it's bad. And then it's I have many opinions about women in media, and maybe it's not the time to get into it now, but yeah. That's a good question. When does grave robbing become archaeology? Yeah, it's... yeah. When... yeah. Well, that's the thing. I often wonder if, like, people who uncritically consumed media in, you know, from the 2000s, where it was kind of that, where it was like, oh, the woman is the trophy and or the arm candy and or just the stand next to the guy while he does the thing. And you see that so much in 2000s media. You see it everywhere, literally everywhere. I think episode 1 of Supernatural, I almost got turned off it completely. Actually, I guess I did because I didn't carry on watching past episode 1, so it did actually turn me off the show. Is that the main character, the younger brother, not the main character, I know they're both the main character, but it's he starts off with this, like, you know, girlfriend, and it really is, it's like she's got like 3 lines, she's not a character. The first time you see her, she's in her, like, you see her in like her, I think it's like her pajamas, but it's just like t-shirt, underwear. It's just like, yeah, well, okay, I already know what this show's gonna be like before I even like carry on past episode 1. I already know that you're not gonna have any interesting things to say about female characters in general. They're all just gonna be like the ghosts who got murdered by their husbands or something like that. And sometimes I just get tired of it. I don't really want to carry on past that point. Yeah, it's... yeah. The way women specifically are treated in media sucks, but I'm going to be honest, the way men are treated in media is... it's hard to say it's just as bad, because there are, like, very big differences in the way that both are portrayed. But I don't think having... because the way men are shown, especially, again, early 2000s media, it's like they are the ultimate masculine form. Or they are something to aspire to, they're something to be. And I think that's also where, like, nowadays a lot of like alpha podcast mentalities come from, where it is also just like, this is what you must aspire to be. Don't be emotional, don't you know, but don't share your emotions, don't lean on anyone for support yourself, be the hero. And it's like, okay, well, you're a piece of wood and the woman next to you is just like a piece of jewelry you've dangled on top of the wood. So like, what are we watching? What is the media now? What are we doing? Why are we here? And it frustrates me from both ends of the spectrum. This is very specific pieces of media I'm talking about. It's like I had that problem with specifically Supernatural. I also had that problem with the early seasons of The Walking Dead. It's not good media. Like, yeah, I think even for the time you could make an argument that it wasn't great media. I think Lost doesn't ever have that problem, so that's also like a great example of good media. Yeah, bad in their own ways. Really? Grimm as well? Oh, I heard about that. It's on my watch list, but my watch list is like a million years long. I think next up for me in terms of like casual day watching is Hannibal. I imagine it will probably have some of the same problems. House had those problems too. It kind of tried to work around it because all the female characters are like doctors. So they are like professional working women, but it has that, especially in the later seasons, which is weird because I'm used to it happening early on and then getting better. But like, oof, by like season 5, it was egregious. They had the one new doctor come in who was bisexual, and that's just, God, they really had fun with that one, didn't they? Just, yeah. A female bisexual character, obviously, but yeah. Yep, it is Hollywood, isn't it? Maybe I should just stop watching American cinema. But that's the thing, it's like, yeah, you get similar but different problems with different cultures. I mean, when I say different cultures, I'm specifically talking about anime because of course I am. Huge anime nerd. But yeah, some of them are just unwatchable because of the way that they approach like men and women, and like specifically women in their portrayals. What you gonna do, hey? Just keep watching for the good media. That's why I recommend Dungeon Meshi. None of those problems. Epic representation for women. Oof. The VFX for the early seasons, I can imagine. One of the better parts of, like I said, okay, Walking Dead representation was pretty bad, but like, God, the special effects, like that's kind of why I stuck around. It was just the zombies were so well done. And yeah, especially nowadays where special effects are like so hard to come by, to see something like that in just like a TV show without that huge of a budget, so fun to see. Only real way out is to just make better media? Absolutely. Although I have noticed something interesting, and I'm gonna be vulnerable here, so be nice to me. Please, I'm begging. Is that I find that I tend to write my male characters as very... I tend to write them almost the way that like Hollywood writes women, but not quite in the same way. I shouldn't have said that actually, because they don't have as much impact on the plot, and they tend to be rather toothless in the way they are, and they just are personality-wise. And I've noticed that about my writing specifically, and it's something that I want to fix, especially before I get too far into Immortal, to go back and change things, because that's a problem. You could say it's like, oh, turn the tables, but I don't want to turn the tables. I just want to write good characters on both sides. So we'll see. I hope that I can improve in that way. Oh, that's interesting. Grimm... Did I watch Grimm? I thought I hadn't, but... The one with the fairy tales and then it becomes a murder mystery. Yeah, oh my god, I did! Well, shows what an impact it made on me, I guess. I think I only watched season 1 though. I couldn't have gotten too far into it, otherwise I'd remember more. Yeah, wasn't it like episode 1 or 2 was like werewolves? Big bad wolf? Oof. Oh, 100%. It really just depends on the anime, because I've watched a lot that have really fantastic representation compared to Western media. It's dependent on the individual writers and artists working on it. Absolutely, 1000%. I think, yeah, 100%. Again, like Dungeon Meshi is kind of like my poster boy for really good representation of like all the characters. Every last one of them is very in-depth, very well thought out, regardless of gender, regardless of anything. It's so well done. Very, very impressive. Something I aspire to write. Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it, yeah. Because I think the idea behind writing good characters, unless you're focusing on gender roles as a theme, is to write the character and then assign a gender, or assign the gender and then ignore it as you write the character. I've heard that advice, and I mean, I think it's good advice. I think it depends on who you are as a person and how able you are to sort of do that. I can for sure do that with some characters. It depends on like how I've characterized them in my head, and unfortunately I do have some of those sort of how did I talk about it in the one of the videos? I think it was the culture video. It's your brain sort of snaps into assumptions and tropes depending on how you see a character in your head. And so yeah, it's definitely I am making no sense. People are not liking Grimm. Oh, 1000%, yeah. Depends on what kind of story you're writing. Juliet. Okay, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't watch any more Grimm. When was Juliet the villain? I don't even know who Juliet is. I'm looking at screenshots of the actors and is it bad of me to say that they're all very ordinary looking. Sometimes I watch movies and if a character has the same hair color, I can't tell. It doesn't matter any other features. I can't tell. That's probably a really bad thing to say. I'm looking at images of the characters and it's bringing nothing. I know I watched some of Scrim. I can't. None of them look familiar. Maybe I didn't watch. I'll have to watch like episode 1 to make sure. Oh, is that an indictment of your show or a? Oh, that felt mean to say. Yeah, it's a again 2000s. They all have the same body types and hair colors and hairstyles. It's hard. I want to say I'm face blind, but I know I'm not. So it is a bit of a problem. I think some things also depend on the media you are basing your story. Most old media and stories are somewhat male-centric, but you can always give more depth than they did at the time. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's, yeah. When most of fiction is sort of written by men, and I know it's your typical, the world was ruled by men. We don't want to hear this feminist talk again, but like it's and I say that because people do say that, but I shouldn't assume that of you guys, but it's yeah, I don't know. It feels like some stuff is very deeply ingrained in fiction, in writing, in the way we approach human beings in fiction. And you can see that very blatantly with like big blockbusters, big pieces, big, like Hollywood movies, like the most. But it's also easy to see that much more subtly in other pieces of fiction, to sort of see the ways that we categorize and sort people based on that. And it sucks. It's not great. There are places where it's like really not a good thing, and there's places where it's maybe not a good thing, and I'm talking about like in sci-fi, right? You have often like the robot sidekick, or you have the sidekick that can't feel things. You get like your Spocks, you get like your robotics and stuff like that. And there were so many like people in the autistic community who felt like they identified with those characters, or were kind of forced to identify with those characters specifically because of the way that they were written. And I am almost 100% sure that that was done completely unintentionally, right? Like they weren't like, oh, I know someone like this, let's write a character like it, right? It was done because they wanted to like remove something from a character in a robot. And I'm talking about it very like off the top of my head. I watched Overly Sarcastic video specifically on robotic characters, I think it was. And they talked about it in a lot more depth and much better than what I'm currently rambling about. But it's yeah. There's certain ways we write that comes from a place of just generalized assumptions about the world we live in. And it's like, to be a good writer, it feels like you have to constantly be questioning your assumptions about the world and your assumptions about like everything that you understand, and constantly be growing as a person. But so few people will do that, because in the world, so few people manage to do that. And it's tricky. What was I even going with? Where was I going with this? Ingrained beliefs, circumstances, writing. Yeah, Oh, thank you. Red from OSP was a huge inspiration for like everything that I do, especially the idea of being able to make like a 2D sketchy character and then sort of make YouTube videos with that character. So I do owe kind of like a lot of I do owe a lot to OSP. They do everything much better than I do. They even talk about fiction much better than I do, so I'm still learning. Yeah, I'm gonna be quiet. I shouldn't try to talk deep after 11 p.m. Well, talk deep, talk serious. Oh, yeah, you're so right. One of my favorite games when reading/watching a piece of fiction is figuring out the writer clearly has very clear opinions on X subject. Oh, yeah. God, when was... Yeah, no. I'm trying to think of a piece of media where that's happened, and I'm just, Speaking of Danny Phantom, the show has very strong opinions on goths, protesters, and yeah, that's another thing. It's, yeah, they're mean to Sam. They are mean to Sam. She's a female character. She's strong-willed. She gets her like heydays, and sometimes she's proven right. Like, that's the thing. The show pokes fun at her, but also at Tucker, and Tucker is kind of the quintessential guy. You know, like hitting on the other girls in the high school and stuff. So it's yeah, of its time, but also manages to sometimes circumvent the tropes of the era. But sure, yeah, no, crazy, man. Especially when you start analyzing even kids' media it shows up in. It's just, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that anymore. That's too sad. Ah, yeah. Whoa! Someone who knows about Butch Hartman's crimes? Hello. Yeah. But that's the thing, Butch Hartman wasn't the only person who was writing for Danny Phantom at the time. Let me actually look this up, hang on. Then I'll be able to tell you for certain if season 3 is bad for a reason. Right, okay. Well, that's the thing. It's, yeah. When you're looking at, like, specifically, like, TV shows, right? Of course you're going to have multiple people, multiple voices speaking into the show, like, in the show. And, yeah, so Butch Hartman created the show. He pitched the idea for it originally, I believe. But then it was also developed by Steve Marmel. They had multiple producers. It was, yeah... They don't seem to have credited specifically a writer. But I don't think this is the product of one person. Writing, I mean. It doesn't quite have that feel to it. However, I shouldn't be basing opinions on feelings, so... Yeah, because, okay, so 2 of the producers from 2004 to 2005 were Bob Boyle and Steve Marmel. This changed in 2006 to 2007 to George Goodchild. So they did change producers. I have no idea if that impacted the writing, if that impacted anything. I wanted to kind of make my own little, like, red tape conspiracy. Oh, it's because they changed this, and this, and they got rid of these good writers and put in the bad writers. But I can't say that. I can't say any of that for certain. Oh, yeah. Oof. Actually, okay, hang on, wait. I've seen a lot of conflicting opinions about, like, whether pieces of media belong to its audience and, like, Harry Potter specifically being involved in that. Because that's the thing, it's like, if you engage with, like, official Harry Potter anything, merch, media, to an extent, I think, like, fan products, but, like, everything kind of goes back to JK, and I don't know, I don't really like what she's been doing with it. I don't think a lot of people like what she's been doing with it, so it is just sort of, you can remove the art from the artist, but by how much? Specifically as well with the creator of Good Omens. The writer... Oh, okay. They've just accredited Terry Pratchett to it. Okay, no, it's Neil Gaiman. As well, it's like with Neil Gaiman as well, it's like how much can we remove the art from the artist when the artist still profits financially from the project. And that's a serious conversation that we can have where it is just like, morally, there's a lot of moving parts here, and I don't know. I mean, like, that Harry Potter game that came out a couple years ago, I know that it would probably be one of my top games of all time. Maybe. I could be overestimating it. In fact, I hope I'm overestimating it. because I will never play it. And that's the thing. It's like, it's you gotta stick with your guns on some stuff. Oh, Neil Gaiman? Yeah. Yeah. Nah, a lot of stuff came out about him. It just, all unpleasant. That's the thing, you know, sometimes people suck, and that sucks. At least Terry Pratchett was great. Right? Like, I only just recently started reading Stephen King. I should get back to that. I started reading Salem's Lot, I want to say a month and a half ago, and I should probably finish it. It's just I can't read it at night because it's scary. Like, not in the moment, but then I go to bed and it's like, oh, okay, well now I'm thinking about this. So it's I can't win. But it's, yeah. So I hope he's like a good guy and it doesn't turn out that he's done some stuff. Bye, Eamon Racing. Thank you so much for being on the Twitch chat and chilling and telling us about your job. It's very cool. I love seeing the stuff on the Discord. Yeah, I of course I was like one of those kids who read like 7 books a week or something like that, and I got to a point where I'd read all of the books that interested me in the library at like my school, and then I went to a different library and got disappointed that they had a smaller like section than the school library for like fiction. And then read all those too, except it was terrible because it was all young adult fiction, romance, which I should not have been reading. Yeah, no, it's but now I just don't read. There's so much to do all the time. And it's like, even to find like an hour or like half an hour at night, like, sucks, man. We still talking Danny Phantom? Yeah! Sometimes. We've talked about a lot of other things. Okay. There we go. It is a cool part of her design that she has a widow's peak. Feels very fun with her character. Ooh, there is... Okay, wait, no, so this one's a little bit out there. There is actually a very fun fanfic that I read when I was in high school. So much so that I tried to make a comic out of it, because it was so, like, visually interesting. But it was literally just like, what if Danny Phantom, but with mermen and mermaids and ocean. And it's just, everything's the same, it's just that instead of being... instead of being into ghosts, Danny's parents are like a little bit like Captain Ahab, and they're just like trying to find mermen out in the ocean, and Danny can't swim, and then he like almost drowns and gets saved by a mer person, and then survives to see another day, and then becomes merman when he touches water. It's very, very fun. Ah, I see. Oh. Nah. It's okay, don't feel bad about coming back to the YouTube chat. It's a lot more banging here. Although there is a very interesting character detail in the actual show itself. where I have as bad eyes. Let's see. Where every character, I believe, except for a couple key ones, I think it's Danny, Vlad. Is it Vlad? Let's see. It is. No, it isn't. Ah, I see. Okay, so Danny specifically has pupils, but none of the other characters do. And I always wondered what the intention was behind that. Because, I don't think Valerie has it either in that case. Neither do Sam and Tucker. Or Jazz. No, Jazz does. Is it because they got that piercing, the blue eye stare? Let's see if it's Maddie. Well, they're wearing goggles in every shot, so... That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I always wondered what the intention was behind it. Maddie does. I don't think Jack does, though. Yeah, no, Maddie has pupils, but Jack doesn't. So there's just 3 characters in the show that have pupils, and, like, it feels random. It feels very random, but it's somehow kind of the case. So make of that what you will. I still haven't figured out why they do it. Maybe. Yeah, or maybe it's like they made their character sheets first, and then it's like to save budget for the animators, they were like, no, 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 just get rid of... Simplify it down. Yeah, the Fenton family are the only ones with pupils, but not Jack. Jack is not a member of the Fenton family. Oh. Hmm. Oh, interesting. Only the fairies have them in Fairly Odd Parents? Weird. Weird. God, that's... Am I gonna draw? Yeah, probably. There's a sketchbook somewhere that I made back in high school. Well, that I had back in high school. That's just full of Danny Phantom sketches. I'm being very vulnerable. I know it's a little cringe, but I had fun. And it helped me learn anatomy. Specifically with the spine. Timmy Turner goes to the same school? Is he even in high school? That's a good question. I'm going to stay on the safe side and say probably not. in terms of allowing drugs in Instagram art. I'm just gonna say probably not. Could probably Google it though. Danny Phantom spine. You've got to know it for the dissection fix. Dissection fan art. Danny is not a phantom, but he has the color palette of Danny Phantom and cool bioluminescent glowing spots and like sections of the fins. At least as is described in the fanfic, so... Again, it was very fun to like think about how that would work and how that would look. That's a great question. Dissection fan art refers to the concept that came around during our angsty 2012 to 2015 period. I'm just picking a date, by the way. There are some now, there's some after, but it was kind of popularized, I want to say, like shortly after the show ended until later. Cannot draw my anatomy today. Everything is out of proportion. And it was the idea that Danny would get like at some point captured by his parents, and then they would do sort of the unthinkable, because according to them, and this is canon in the show, ghosts don't feel pain. In fact, I think the reason that in the show Jack and Maddie are constantly sort of delegitimizing Danny Phantom's humanity and ability and personhood, and I think that as well as that being kind of a metaphor for how some parents treat their kids and kind of leaning into the theming, or at least if not intentionally by the show, definitely intentionally by the fans, it sort of ties into, again, adolescence. It ties into how parents treat their kids, and it also is just lending itself very well to something like a dissection plotline, where they would do the worst of the worst possible to their own son without knowing it's their son. And that is where like you get peak angst out of the community. I think that's that's the worst it goes conceptually. Yeah, so I knew the terminology once upon a time because of the fanfics, but it depends. The dissection is like, well, body wide. Vivisection, I think, is just the chest, isn't it? Yeah, it's super angsty. It's super weird. I know, if you haven't like been in with the like I said, it's been very pleasant the last few years to see a bit of a turning point in the general kind of fandom for it, where like stuff like that isn't as common anymore. You still kind of get it every now and then, it still pops up, but it's like it's not as widespread because people are sort of getting more into like redemption for the Fentons and getting more into like, hey, their parents, they're trying their best. And I think it also shows the aging fan base as they become adults and are like, oh, I get, oh, oh, cut them some slack. It's hard out there. Let's see. I have no idea where I'm going with this one, by the way. I was just like, I'll draw Sam. What pose? Who knows? We'll figure it out as we go. Exactly. This is what they call organic going in without a plan art. Yeah, no, it kind of does. I think it's the face with the hair. I'm also kind of doing a bit of a different thing with like the nose, definitely compared to like what I was doing with Danny. I can give it a different nose. Because that's the thing, I flip-flop between kind of this specific style where it's like more emphasis on the line weight. So that it becomes more about the shapes of it than the actual line art. I actually tend to do this a lot more with like scenery. It's a lot easier to draw like a tree without doing all the details when you can kind of just go like, it's like that, it's like that, and it's like... And then you do like a big shadow like that, and you go, yeah, it's fine like that. Anyway, and then sometimes I black out and I do it with people apparently, so... She is the same voice actress though. Fun fact. For Azura and for Sam. Yeah, no, I only really thought of it when you mentioned it, yeah. It's okay. I mean, listen, the voice actress who voices Sam and Azula. Azula? Is Azula, isn't it? Yeah, no, she has voiced so many characters. She also voiced Mandy from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Let's see, I think she voiced some characters from My Little Pony, the big animated one that everyone likes. The 2D one. Yeah, no. She's sick. Yeah, friendship is magic. There we go. Ultra recycler vegetarian, the root of everyone's problems. And indirectly the cause of all the conflict in episode 1. Yeah, no, this is kind of the part that irritated me, where it was like they were making fun of specifically like vegan food. Like they didn't call it vegan, but like what else could it possibly be? Not that I am vegan, but like, I don't know, man. It's just, it feels like punching down. And it's like, yeah, no, it's a turf witch, guys. She's eating grass on a bun. It's one of the things that irritates me. And then, of course, you have Paulina, who is portrayed as very shallow in the show. Sam absolutely despises her for that reason. And she's objectively, like, not a great character. She, like, manipulates specifically the boys in the school because she feels she can. But, I don't know. I have a hard time with characters like that because it's hard to remove the man writing her from the character that she is, you know? And I know I'm getting a little bit too much into the weeds again, but stuff I think about. Why am I giving her heels? Of course she's not wearing heels. The bread with the turf. Oh god, and then there's like something else where it's like she has like a yogurt, not yogurt, tofu. Yeah, she goes to like the Nasty Burger and she has like a tofu melt. And it's just like, which I don't think tofu works that way, but I can't get mad at them for everything. Let's see. Okay. It's fine. I mean, the style of fashion is kind of coming back, isn't it? The skirt with the pants or the skirt with the leggings. Azula's a very tragic character, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Again, it's like, there's a certain problem with the way female characters are treated by audiences as well. I actually talked about that when I was talking about sort of Tala and like her character when she starts the series off. It's that she's very headstrong, she makes mistakes, she is inexperienced in the world and the consequences of her actions. And that's something important for her to kind of learn and grow through as she goes. And I worry about that a lot. I worry about people's first introduction to her being kind of the worst form of herself, or at least like the most inexperienced and, again, like the loudest, the most wrong. And it's, yeah, I really worry about that, because if people dismiss her as another annoying female character, that's going to be really depressing. But we will see. Shh, if I don't tell anyone, you don't tell anyone, and then no one will know that I just copy and pasted the boots. It's fine. I mean, they will know because it looks janky as hell, but it's fine. Oh. Pulling Ahsoka? Ahsoka? Ah, I see. Yeah, it's... Yeah. Again, there's problems. Of course there's problems. There's always problems. Ah, I didn't want to talk about, like... Well, not want to, but I didn't think we'd talk about this kind of stuff now. It's stuff I always get interested in and I want to talk about it, but I understand it's like, it's not the most fun thing to talk about. It's not the best topic to just have a casual chat about. It's better than what it was. Nah, we're just doing sketches. And then you get, of course, Tucker. We can draw Tucker. No, wait, hang on. Mundane, and then we're done. Because it is getting a bit late. Yeah, I watched quite a bit of Legend of Korra, and then I just sort of fell off it a little bit. I can't tell you why, honestly. I didn't really hear a lot of the ways that, like, people, like, oh, this is, like, people didn't like it because of such and such reason. Like, I never really heard about, like, any of the... I don't really know about that sort of side of the conversation. I don't know if it was because she was a woman. I don't know if it was, but yeah, no, I just fell off it a little bit, and then I hadn't watched the next episode. I was still on season 1. I hadn't watched the next episode in, like, I think a week, and then a week passed, and I was like, oh well, I don't really feel like carrying on, so I didn't. And that sucks. It's kind of like history, you know? It's Avatar the Last Airbender. It's a big deal. It does feel like I should, but I will. Yeah, no, you'll get. Yeah, you get it. Thank you, Ultimate Ninja Boy. You get it. Maybe. I think it was. Yeah, no, I think I finished season 1 because it all culminates in the daughter of the, and she had fire bending, or I think she maybe didn't have any bending, but she was the daughter of like a inventor billionaire. It's always the billionaires, man. Ah, I see. I have no clue. Maybe I should just rewatch it. Get some culture. Ah, Deus Ex Recovery. Ah, yeah, that'll do it. Yep. That sounds real bad. Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, it's got peak world building is the thing. Especially as like science develops and it's like, hey, when will technology catch up to bending? Hmm. Oh, really? What do you mean Legend of Korra doesn't really have a story that spans multiple seasons? Uh, I mean, I don't know. Again, like, I only got to season 1, so... Ah... That sounds like kind of a pity. Is anyone excited for the new Avatar coming out soon? The Earthbender one? Hmm. Okay, so like a seasonal. Okay. I mean, hey, it's not a bad thing necessarily, but it's interesting that they went with that format considering how sort of overarching all of The Last Airbender was. Okay, nice. Yeah, there was a new one announced and I haven't been keeping up at all with it. I just heard that it was announced like a couple years back. And I think there was like some new information about it recently. I don't know when it's coming out. I just know it's about the the Earthbender. I think. When it was announced it was about the Earthbender. I think it might have changed. But I'm pretty sure it didn't. I don't know. Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. So it focuses more on like a long-term character arc for Korra. Hmm. I hope they don't do an older Aang story. Everyone will be so old. And it'll all be the Korra characters. Ah, okay. That would be really interesting to have a swamp bender. And they're just like super like in their roots. Hardy hard, did. Oh, but those were the waterbenders, hey, because they bended the swamp. So we'd have to wait quite a while for that. Mhm. Atom punk avatar. I mean, yeah, sure. Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? Why not? Oh my god, if there's an earthbender, Toph needs to come back. Make her even older. I mean, old Toph, I think, is one of the best ideas from Korra. Did I get to that point even? I remember seeing like all the statues of her in like the police force. I remember people saying that was very out of character. It was like, Toph would not be a police officer. Toph would not enforce the law. Ah, Solarpunk. Yeah, for sure. I hope so. I don't know, man. It depends on whether I'm making a utopia or a dystopia. If it's a dystopia, it'll just look like our day, our modern world. Okay. But like a Fire Nation. Okay, Solarpunk would just be Fire Nation takeover. They already control fire, which is just what the sun is, giant ball of fire. But it could be a cultural takeover instead of a forceful takeover. That would be pretty fun. And then there'd be like a bunch of people like, oh, but history. Oh, but the history. And there would be, oh, actually that would be a bit depressing. To sort of like, oh, but people are like super wary of it, and there's like conspiracy theories about it, and it's like, oh, we can't let them do this. Look at what they've done in the past. Is there any of that in Korra? Where it's like, look at the crimes, or is it like Zuko fixed everything with his sheer charm and charisma? Good night. Good night, Gabriel. Thank you for watching. Well, hanging out. Oh, well, I mean, Solarpunk is the utopian option. And then if it's a dystopian option, it's just what we have now, which is just awful and terrible and sucks. Militant anarchism? Fascinating. Do they, like, give it a fair shake, or is it kind of just like... Well, okay, hang on. Militant makes it sound like not a good thing, so... I don't know. I mean, I've heard the opinions of a couple of anarchists, and it all sounds very optimistic. But I don't know. I don't have enough faith in the average person to want to leave things up to the average person. Sorry, I'm thinking about the fanfic for this. It is very good. Maybe I'll reread it. My favorite part is he starts off not knowing Sam from a bar of soap and thinking she's very stuck up. But then she meets the mer version of him in the swimming pool because he's learning how to swim because he never learned how to swim. And then they get to know each other, but she gets to know him as Phantom, mer Phantom first, and doesn't know that he's human until way, like a couple chapters in, after they first meet. And it's like a big reveal, and she feels really betrayed about it, and it's so good, but it's just like them bonding in a swimming pool. And that is a version of Sam and Danny that I would believe a romance around. Because they actually communicate and they talk together well on their own. Sorry, the music, the beat dropped just as I said that. I felt very inspired. Yeah. I mean, we're kind of living in a dystopia, depending on who you ask. It's me. I'm the one you asked. We are living in a dystopia. I don't know. Again, don't want to get into it, but yeah. Ah, the first plan was to kidnap the baby Korra and raise her in their philosophy to control the Avatar in their version of the future. Plan B is destroy the Avatar. Were they going to try again with the next Avatar baby? Just keep going. Oh god, every year there's a new one. But then why did they just wait until she was an adult? My favorite line is when Danny says, "I'm gonna morb all over the place," and then he does. He's a fish. That's a hell of a conspiracy theory. Winter doesn't exist? It certainly doesn't here. That's because I live in the southern hemisphere. And it stinks. Actually, I've been hearing how hot the summers are in the northern hemisphere recently in the last couple of years. I'm kind of happy I'm down here. Because I don't think there's been a change in our summers. Our rainy seasons are just rainier now. Which, depending on how you look at it, is not a bad thing. We did get a flood a couple of years back. It did ruin quite a bit of the city, actually, now that I say that. So maybe I shouldn't be saying it's a good thing. Ooh, how hot? Like Celsius. If you say 25, I'm gonna cry. The tail's a little bit unimaginative, but I always imagined it as like Toothless tail. How to Train Your Dragon. 35 and 37, 38. Oh. Okay, fair enough. That's pretty bad for summer. Oof. Yeah, no, we get I want to say tops maybe like 38. Like on a really bad time, and then you just stay inside all day. Oh, that's rough. Oh, that's rough, gang. Oof. 45 is insane. I know like Namibia, I believe, can get 45 in the summer. We are not very close to Namibia. Well, we are kind of, but like objectively. Temperature-wise, we're not close to Namibia, but like, whoa. God, that's scary. I had no idea it was that bad. But like, is this like Europe or more like a bit south, like Spanish, or like America, US? Oh. Yeah, so in the fanfic, he is bioluminescent and he has like all these spots. In fact, all the mermaids are, because they live like in deep water. So of course they do. And then like all their lights are bioluminescent. And it's your classic mermaid fare. It's like the queen has like, I think, bunch of plastic junk around her neck as like jewelry and stuff. There's a queen, by the way. I don't know. The characters are supposed to be, I think, analogs for like the ghosts in the show. But because they all have different names and different descriptions, I haven't really pieced together who's who in the zoo yet. And I don't think I will. It hasn't been updated in a couple years. So I'm pretty sure it's not gonna get updated again. But it was really good. God, it was good. It's just a fun time, you know? Sometimes stuff doesn't have to be like super in-depth and like complex. Sometimes it's just gotta be good. For the just simple, good, fun. And this is definitely like just very, very goofy. Ta-da! DANNY PAHNTOM. Fish edition. Featuring bioluminescent circles. Oh. 39 tops in Austria, but that's still like just on the end of like, yeah, that's scary, hey? I mean, 38 in Florida is not too bad considering the climate, but I can imagine the humidity must suck. Because we get quite a bit of humidity here, but like not, I think, as bad as like swamp humidity. The hidden underbelly of the fanfiction, since he's built for deep sea, he gets all fat when on the surface like a blobfish. Not quite. I'm trying to remember what happens. I mean, when he gets into water, his legs try to like fuse together to become the tail, so he's gotta like try not to get like like clothing fibers stuck there. Oh god, I know what that sounds like. Okay, never mind. Oh. Yeah, it reads a little bit as body horror sometimes, but eh. Oh, 13th year, that's the mermaid one, right? Right, I remember 13th year. Yeah, no, it's definitely that. It's so much like that. Except instead of it being like a coming of age thing, it's a horrible accident that leaves him scarred. It's also another one of those fanfics where it's like Dash thinks he kills Danny and then he just shows up the next day. God, I should watch 13th Year again. I wonder if it holds up. It probably won't. Wasn't it a Disney movie straight to DVD? Yep. Yeah, it's like a Disney Channel movie. He's his mom was a mermaid and he only finds out when he starts growing fins, I think after he turns 13. Decom, yeah. Okay. We are actually just wrapping things up, Velocitar. Thank you for coming back. Just at the end. Yeah, no, summer sucks. Winter's nice. We should just stay in winter all the time. Just keep moving from the south to the north hemisphere for the seasons. Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's see now. Okay, so thank you all very much. This was a bit of a silly stream. This was a bit of a self-indulgence. Also a fun way to kind of mess around with the poll. I wanted to bring more of a chaotic energy to this one, but you can tell me how I did. That's a confirmed goose. Read if you can find it, you can read it. It's on fanfic.net, and not even I remember the name of it. And I've been reading it since I was in high school. It's an old one. Let's see. Hong Kong Cam Goose. Okay. Alright. Oi, I do not honk randomly. I honk precisely when I mean to. Okay. Yeah, thank you for coming and listening to Danny Phantom lore and to listen to me ramble. I mean, look, I know it's not the best show. I know it's not the best, like, piece of media of all time. I definitely would not pretend that in the slightest. But it's something that's close to my heart. It's something I've been following for, like, most of my life at this point. So it's a special little thing I keep with me. And it's also nice to read fanfics for it because it does actually kind of help me tune my writing senses. You know, like spidey senses. I don't know. It helps. I have fun. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Big internet, big place. Lots of stuff always happening. So yeah, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time over here. If you I've got to say the thing. Okay, if you enjoyed, put a like in the like and subscribe. Although I'm gonna take a leap of faith here and say you are all subscribed already. I think I know the demographic. Yeah. Yeah. Nah, thanks a ton. Yeah, the high school obsession. This was big chunk of my childhood. Nah, thank you. Thank you for coming in and out. Yeah, no, can't expect everyone to hang around all day. Woo, subscribe to the... Okay, thank you all. Bye-bye.